Now, today marks the International Day of the Girl Child, a United Nations-led initiative supporting the more than 1.1 billion girls worldwide who are a powerful force for shaping a sustainable world. The day aims to highlight the fact that too many girls around the world have their potential and dreams thwarted by violence, discrimination, and inequality. The theme this year is Girls Progress equals Goals Progress, a global girl data movement calling for action on increasing the availability and analysis of girl-focused and sex disaggregated data. All right, so we want to have a conversation around that. Joining me in studio is Naitore Nyamu from Equality Now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So talk to us about the Day of International Day of the Girl. What is it all about?
2016 marks the 4th annual celebration for the girl child, the International Day of the Girl Child, and this is a United Nations initiative. It gives an opportunity to discuss various issues that are affecting the girl child and also to keep in track on whether we are making any progress in terms of some of the barriers for the girl child development, growth, and whether the girl child are getting the equal opportunities that they need for them to prosper in various sectors of their lives.
Well, we have been talking about this issue for such a long time, and it seems that every year we're talking about the same issues. If you talk about marriage, if you talk about equal opportunities that are not being given to girls, is there a time that we'll get to where we're seeing progress, that, at least we're saying this year, at least we're not talking about this, we dealt it with last year, we're now moving on to other problems?
For starters, just the fact that we're having conversation about the rights of girls or issues about girls, it's progress in itself. Because previously we not have even a day set aside for the girls. This was something that was unheard of. The fact that we are talking about it, it's progress enough. I know at times the issues that relate to girls can be a bit too much because you are talking to them about them over and over.
Yes.
But for me, I see a big progress in that.
Okay.
There have been progress in so many areas, like where we did not have laws. We now have laws that protect girls, girls from early child marriage. Excuse me. So the thing that needs to be done now is enforcement of these laws, or where we had some policies that are very prejudiced. We have those policies that have been set aside. So in one way or another, we are getting steady progress.
Okay.
It might be slow, but eventually we'll get there. We'll definitely
we'll get there.
Yeah.
And the problems that a girl in Africa experiences, is it the same that another girl in, say, Asia is experiencing, or the environment, the continents, or the environments differ on what challenges that these girls we're talking about face?
The environment may differ, but the challenges are just similar. Like, for example, here in Kenya, we have the cases of defilement, of some girls not going to school. Girls are being married when they're not even at an early age of 8 years. In other countries, we have the same. Like even in India, we have cases of rampant defilement of girls. We have gang rape. Girls are raped. Girls are not going to school. So the difference might be they've made progress in terms of their law, in terms of their laws rather, or in terms of the campaigns that have been geared towards enforcing the rights of the girls. But all over the world, the challenges are just similar. The magnitude might differ, but the challenges are just similar.
Right.
And like for us at Equality Now, we have a specific program called Justice for Girls that seeks to advocate for the rights of girls, and specifically more the adolescent girls, because more often than not, the adolescent girls are the invisible group.
Okay.
And especially as this theme for 2016 is about the goals and the data disaggregation, whereby you find that girls between the ages of 5 and 14, they're sort of invisible because the data that we get, whether from the private sector or even the government, government does not give a voice to these girls.
Okay.
Yet these girls face similar challenges
Yes,
rather,
yes.
or even worse of challenges. Yes.
Let's specifically talk about Africa,
Yes.
where we are. Of course, there has been, great conversations about, educating girls, and very many communities, even here in Kenya, still struggle with the fact that girls also need to get an education, just like boys. Are we seeing an improvement in regards to education?
Yes, in
Okay.
some communities we've seen progress, whereby initially a girl was an economic burden. So for you, the best thing is to pull you
Get
out of
married.
school and marry you so that we get those resources.
Yes.
We've seen in some communities now where they've seen the importance of having girls in school. And one of the reasons that we can attribute to this is when these communities see other girls from other communities are doing well, like maybe from your community, Betty, they see Betty Chalo is a news anchor at
Yeah.
KTN, they're like, oh wow, we'd also want to have one of our girls
Okay.
anchoring news or doing something very
Great.
good with her life, in
Yeah.
her career life.
Yes.
So such simple examples are some of the attributes that we can tie them to why some communities are slowly moving away from the issue of just girls should be married. Another thing is the campaigns. We have both the government and even the NGOs have done numerous campaigns on how vital and the essence of having girls go to school, because you realize the moment you take a girl to school, you've empowered that girl for
Actually,
the rest of her
community
life.
that she lives
Yes,
with,
even
yeah.
the community, the
Yes.
entire society,
Yes,
and the
yes.
society want to have that linkage with that girl. They are all calling her, that's our girl, she's doing well, yeah? So those campaigns should continue. And even just other women and girls who have gotten that opportunity to go to school should go back to those communities
Okay.
and just continue liaising and talking to these community members on why it's very important to have girls go to school.
And these conversations, Naitori, I'd like to know, do we have these conversations in developing countries, underdeveloped countries? Do we have issues that, girls are facing even in developed countries?
Of course, definitely. You remember we had a case in the United States whereby a girl who was out with her friends was defiled, and this was a university student who defiled this girl, and for him she was intoxicated, and
Yes.
that's a good enough reason to go
be-
ahead and take
defile,
advantage
yeah.
of her. And for me, I don't think the separation is about the developed world and the
Okay.
underdeveloped world. It's just looking at what challenges are we facing at the moment, yeah, and
All right.
how can we deal with them.
So it also means that it's not just about FGM, it's not just about, young girls getting married, but of course expanding the conversation to cover issues like the ones you're talking about, rape that
Yeah.
happens, worldwide.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, and absolutely just looking at the patriarchal society and the mindset, the way
Okay.
we are socialized.
Yes, yes.
That if a girl is out there with her friends,
Yes.
what is she doing there? And if she's out there, it means that I can take advantage of her. Or even the mindset that a girl who is 8 years is better off being taken out of school so that this boy who is 7 or 6 can go to school.
Can continue.
It's just all about our socialization. And even if you look at the data, you realize that girls worldwide spend 40% more time on household chores
Yes.
than the boys. And you wonder at what point will this girl who is still going to school
Right.
get time to do her homework, or
homework.
concentrate on other things,
Or
or even
revision.
play, yeah?
Yes.
Just letting girls
just
be
be,
girls.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's another, parallel conversation that is also gaining momentum.
Yes.
That, there's a lot of attention that is being given to the girl child. What about the boy child? Can you really compare the two, the challenges that, a young girl faces in today's world compared to one that, challenges that a boy child faces?
In my very personal opinion, it's very incomparable.
Yes.
Because for a girl, it starts with issues that we think are so small, like menstrual period.
Yes.
Yeah, a girl cannot, or even a family that cannot afford to have a meal, 3 meals in a day. Are they going to buy the pads for the girl, or are they going to have a meals for the entire family? So such a girl will have to stay at home every month. Imagine every 3 days in a month or
Yes,
4 months.
yes.
And for girls, it's different. Some start their periods at the age of 8 or 6 or 7, depends. So the challenges that a girl starts facing at a very early age, you cannot compare them with the boy. And even the way our society is, we value boys more. Even up to this date, even as women who are in our careers, there are some things that happen, and you're like, I thought we are in 2016.
Yeah. There's,
So
unfair treatment.
unfair treatment all over, even when it comes to opportunities.
Yes.
In some places of work, you see, you have the same qualifications, you have the experience, you're ready for that opportunity.
Yes.
But your employer will prefer the man in the
Yes.
same department as opposed to the girl.
To the
So
woman.
those stereotypes and the patriarchal society is still with us.
It's still with us.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we have these gender inequalities.
But then there's also that conversation that, right now there are very many women who are coming up. There are very many women who are taking up leading positions in, some of the biggest institutions in the world. And even we've seen that right here at home. Would you call that progress in, we've come from a conversation where we're talking about, young girls getting married, but even as we progress through the ages, could you term it has progress that we're seeing very many women going for those top positions and actually leading some of the biggest and successful companies in the continent, in the world?
Yeah, for me, it's a good thing to celebrate, even the small position, not smaller, even not the so big major positions.
Yes.
For me, it's a moment to celebrate. However, that should not be the end of it all.
Okay.
Yeah, we should still encourage more women to take up leadership positions. Like in our country, whereby we are just coming to an election period.
Right.
If like today I wanted to buy, the kind of things that would go through my mind, it's not the same thing that would go through a man's mind.
Exactly.
Because for me, I know the questions that will be asked. Are you married? Where
There's
do you
more
live?
pressure.
Where do you, as in things that not necessarily relate to my leadership
Yes.
or to my qualifications.
Okay, that
So,
are fronted out there.
Yeah, at women. And such things are the reasons why we need to keep on calling out more women and encouraging them in all areas of leadership,
Right.
and even at school. And we have to start that when women are still girls, when they are still in school, in primary
When they're
school.
younger.
Yeah, when they are quite young.
But
Yeah.
then there's also, the issue that women are sometimes their biggest, what is it?
Enemy?
Their biggest enemies. That's the word I'm looking for. And there's a conversation that was going on online last week that said, we've had this women representatives, we've had women MPs, in Parliament, but as we head to the elections, some of the sanitary pads are still not available for girls. Is that something that they should have fronted while they were in power? Now that we have just about, let's say, 9 months to the elections,
Yeah.
do you think even the women who are in these positions do enough to help the little ones who are upcoming, even with the small issues or like of sanitary towels?
Yeah, I believe they can do better, way better than they've done.
Okay.
What I would propose is policies. If someone has if an organization has an idea of a policy, like the issue of sanitary pads, it's something that we've discussed for so many years.
Yes.
Yeah, and by now we should be having a very legal framework on how these sanitary pads should be distributed or to all girls to ensure that none misses school. So for the MPs, female parliamentarians rather, I believe they would have done way better if they were a bit more united, if they could forge a very united front. However, I don't think that women are their worst enemies. What happens is that we've propagated this idea for so long until it has stuck in our minds, such that a man who's been in parliament for the same period will not be judged based on the bills they've brought,
to
they
the
have
House.
ensured to be enacted, but based on so many other issues. And if a woman decides to vie in this area and another woman also wants to vie, we'll say that women are being their worst enemies. But if two men decide to vie in the same county,
It's not viewed as the same
it's not viewed
thing.
as the same.
Okay.
So I totally disagree with that concept that women are their worst enemies. But I also say that our female parliamentarians can do way better than they have done, especially in this parliament.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Naitara
you.
Nyamu. That was an interesting conversation.
All right.
Let's hope that next year, as we mark this day again,
Yeah.
probably we'll be talking about, more of the progresses rather than the challenges that, girls are facing.
True.
Yeah?
All right.
All right. Thank you so much, Naitore Nyamu from Equality. Now, of course, talking to us about the Day of the Girl Child. All right.